and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. She is the author of the book Embracing the Aging Process, no other than Miss Toni Lamotta. Welcome, Miss Tony, on Book 101 Review. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Sure, Daniel, I'm glad to be here. And I'm Dr. Toni Lamotta, and I'm a spiritual life coach that focuses on helping people find their inner compass. And most of the people that I work with are people who live in fear and doubt. And I have several programs and several things that I work with them on. But the one we're looking at today is one that is dealing with one of people's biggest fears, which is on aging and dying actually. And it's an approach to really look at it from a whole new perspective. I spend lots of times with clients helping them and watch transformation happen before my eyes. I'm a spiritual life coach. I'm also a New Thought minister, and I have written several books. This is the one that I think fits mostly with the people that are working. I'm working with today.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Miss Tony. And today, let's talk about your book. The title suggests an active passive choice to embrace aging. What does the embrace feel like or look like in a daily life? Is it an attitude, a set of practice, or a surrender?
It's a little bit of all of the above because in order to embrace the aging process, you first have to look at why you're not embracing it. And so I explore the first part of the book is about exploring all the myths there are about aging. And most people are afraid of aging because they have these erroneous beliefs that they either have seen through the media or heard from people and that are just not true. So it's a matter of learning the truth. And when you really find out the truth out there, you can let go of the fear. So that's how we begin. It's a mindset type of thing.
A mindset
Yes.
indeed, and the truth will set you free, people. So, Miss Tony, our cultures often frames aging as a story of decline and loss. What is the more empowering, truthful story about aging that your book invites readers to believe and live into?
I just had a conversation with a friend of mine today as we're both getting older and realizing that you can focus on some of the decline. Some of the things look like decline, but if you focus instead on the wisdom that has been gained through the years, I know that one of the reasons people come to me is because they recognize that I've learned something over the years. I've been around a long time, and so what I focus on is wow, look at where I have come, look at what I experienced, not what I can't do anymore or what's behind me, but there's so much still in front. So it's a way of aging consciously and noticing that it's what you focus on. If you focus on how awful things are, in any age, things get awful. If you focus on what's going to work, what's working, that's what you start to see. And so the same is true, certainly about aging. There've actually been studies done. There are two women from Harvard University who did a study which proves that people who have challenges are the people who have been thinking about there being challenges when they're aging. So there's some scientific studies behind this.
Interesting and empowering, Miss Tony. Many people fear the loss of youth. What are the unexpected freedoms, liberations, or forms of power that you discovered are unique to this chapter of life?
Well, one of the things is you stop caring about what everybody else thinks. You'll notice I have a dragonfly on the cover.
Hmm.
I actually have a dragonfly tattooed on my arm. Dragonflies are the symbol for my business because the dragonfly doesn't get its true colors until it reaches maturity. And one of the things that I have seen happening is that people stop searching and struggling like with the question, who am I? What am I here for? It's a relaxing time. It's time to say, I know who I am, and I'm going to use the expression, I don't give a damn what everybody else thinks, because you really get to a point where you are more self sufficient, which is why I use the term the inner compass coach. You start living your life more from your own gut feelings, your own experiences, your own knowing, rather than what the expectations of others or the world might be. You give up all the dreams that your parents had or your boss had or you think society wants, and you I think when you do it consciously you get to a point where you really accept life as it is. And to me, probably the most profound spiritual lesson is it is what it is. Like when we can face life just exactly as it is right now, we are so much more content than when we're trying to make it be something that it's not.
Yes, indeed. Don't care what people say about you. People, I don't care what people say about me. That will be your mindset. It is good for you. You are the bomb.com if you do that. On the practical realities and
Well, it's
transitions.
true.
So let's talk about a central part of
What
aging
about say?
is the changing relationship with our physical selves. How do we move from fighting these changes or feeling betrayed by our bodies toward a stance of respect and care and perhaps even curiosity?
Well, it's interesting because I recently broke my ankle, so it's a very good question to be asking me right now. I am sitting here with a boot on my leg, unable to really move, can't drive, can't do a lot of things, and I decided early on, like while I was still in the emergency room, I made a decision about how I wanted to handle this situation. I could either really be very frustrated and constantly complaining about what I couldn't do or accept what I could. And one of the things I've seen during this time, and this is a lesson I think that we need to learn young, but we learn it as we get older, that we are not so independent, we're interdependent. And so I need people, I need help, and therefore I'm asking for it. And you know what? It's showing up. There are people there, people want to serve, people want to support, so it becomes an opportunity to live on a whole different level. And I think that, again, one of the things that I often teach people is that we think we're missing certain things that we used to be able to do. If physically you can no longer do those things, it's not the thing itself that was important. It was the feeling that that thing gave you. So, one of the exercises I do with people is to take a look at what were you looking for when you did that. Suppose you were a skier, let's say, and you can't ski anymore. Well, what was the feeling that you wanted from that, and how else can you get that same feeling? And almost everyone comes up with something almost instantaneously. They can take a look at, it's not the actual action, it's what we get from what it is that we think we're missing. And so we don't have to ever be missing it. The other thing I want to mention is that one of the one of the things I talk about in the book, and I have a course by the same name, and in the course, I help people to do some journaling with your body and having conversations with our bodies. We tend to be very negative towards our bodies, and when something's not working, we kind of curse it and we push it away instead of recognizing, my ankle broke. I don't know about you, but I never thought about my ankle before. I never appreciated what my ankle could do for me. So, one of the practices that I have taken up is to thank my ankle and my knees and my hips and the parts of me that seem to be, you know, less able than they were before. It changes. I mean, it really is about transformation of your attitude and transformation of how you're looking at things. Whatever we look at, the way we look at it changes it. And so it's been kind of enlivening, and I really recommend, just to tell everybody, one of the exercises that I talk about in the book is to have some memories of bodily sensations and things that your body has been through. It could, the first thing I'm thinking of right now is making a snow angel when I was a little kid and the feeling of laying in the snow. You can think of all kinds of things. You can think of some negative things that you've had, a surgery that you may have had, but the wonderful things that our body has given us. And after you make a list of that and make friends with your body, you can start having a conversation about what the body is asking of you at this time. And our bodies are always speaking to us. We don't always listen. So, one of my recommendations to have a healthy aging process is to make friends with your body.
Make friends for your body is a good recommendation, Miss Tony. So the concept of legacy becomes more present. How does your book guide readers in thinking about legacy not as a monumental thing to a build at the end, but as something live and contributed daily?
It's a wonderful question, Daniel, because it leads me to one of the other sections. There are basically four sections in the book, and the last section is about the future. And I'm looking at death there, but the way we look at it is to say, if I were to write my own epitaph, for example, or my obituary, and I want to say, what would I want people to say about me? And when we do that, and I recommend doing that a lot earlier than waiting until you're aging. And then you live your life so that you fulfill what it is you say you want it to be. So we become, I had a friend recently, um, 95. She lived in Canada and she chose to use MAID, which is medically assistance in dying. She had some serious kidney issues, and so she was given the privilege of choosing her date of death. And so I was talking to her almost every day for the last 2 weeks and saying, how are you living knowing that you're going to die? And she said, I'm appreciating things I never appreciated before. I'm being with people more. I'm celebrating going to the beach. I mean, she lived her life fully. And so it's like, what do you want people to say? The Buddhists teach us to live as if today is the last day of our lives, but she really taught me to wake up every day asking, how do I want to live if this is what I have left? And what do I want to leave to the world? What is my legacy? What is my gift to the world? And the gift can be very simple. One of the things I once said at my memorial service is, we're gathered together today because we felt loved in Tony's presence. Boy, does that get me up short when I'm not feeling like I'm being loving in someone's presence. So if I want that said at my memorial service, I better do that today. I better do that every day. Every person I meet, I want to live that way because that's how I want to be remembered. And so when we think about legacy, it's less about how much money we're living or what kind of goods we live in the world, or even all the books we may write. It's really about what impression do we want to leave on people. And I would hope that most people can say that they felt loved.
Yes, definitely. Beyond philosophy, real worries about health, cost, and care exist. How does embrace include a practical, clear-eyed planning to elevate anxiety and create security, Miss Tani?
And you know what? I'm sorry. I didn't understand what you just said. There was static. Can you repeat that?
Hmm. Beyond philosophy, real worries about health costs and care exist. How does embrace include practical, clear eyed planning to elevate anxiety and create security?
How does it take away anxiety? Well, I think it's the
Yes.
same thing I said it earlier. If you learn about what the myths of aging are, part of what I have in the book and actually on my website is a quiz you can take to look at what you believe about aging. And when you can let go of those myths and start saying, wait a minute, everything I thought I believed is not even true. And so I can let go of that anxiety. The other thing is there are just lots of different ways to allow ourselves to begin to trust and letting go of the anxiety when you start to recognize, and this may sound a little far-fetched, but that life is happening perfectly. There is a universal plan. There is a plan in the everything's happening that needs to be happening, everything in life. And this is something that most people are challenged by, but I recommend thinking about. Life never happens to us, it happens for us. So no matter what it looks like, no matter what's happening, if we look for the gift in it, we'll begin to see it rather than complaining and criticizing and finding fault in everything going on. So, even in the world as we experience it today, with all of its chaos, if we can say, I'm not saying there's not chaos, I'm not saying there's not challenge, but I'm suggesting that if we say, where is the gift in this? Can I see a gift in everything happening? Then, then I can actually. It's amazing what changes in my life and how I relax. I lose all that fear. I don't live in fear. I live in tremendous sense of abundance and peace because I know even the uncomfortable things are just uncomfortable things. They'll pass, and so I can live in great peace without anxiety. Hopefully that answers you.
Yeah, so Miss Tony, to wrap up our discussion for today, for the listeners who is struggling, fearful, or even resentful about getting older, what is one small, gentle first step you would recommend from your book to begin the shift of their perspective?
Well, one of them is to do a life review. That's something that I think really helps people to take a look at what have been the gifts and what have been the challenges that have come up to now. And when you see every single one of us have faced major challenges, no matter who you are, nobody goes through life unscathed. And when you do a bit of a life review, you get a perspective that really helps live for the future. Even the challenges you might have had as a child, and also the gifts that you've had along the way. So I encourage people to read the book. I give suggestions about different ways you can do the life review. Some people do it recording, some people do it through writing, some people do it through pictures. It's a wonderful opportunity to get perspective on life. And when you see life, you look backwards, you can look forward with less anxiety.
Interesting, Miss Tony, and thank you so much for sharing your book to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support our your books?
Well, to support, you go to Amazon and type in my name. You'll find several books. The Embracing the Aging Process is one of them. If you're interested in learning a little bit more, even about the course, just go to tonilamotta.com. It's TONILAMOTTA.com and sign up for my mailing list, and you can then communicate with me and be able to lead you to all the different things that might support you.
Yes, people, let's support Miss Toni Lamotta because if you support her for sure, more and more empowering books like this will rise. And one more question, Miss Toni, does the aging process naturally invite a deeper spiritual or contemplative exploration? What does that look like outside for a formal religious frameworks?
Well, it's interesting because for some people have had spiritual process all through their life. And for them, usually the aging process is about dealing with the body. For some people, it's about dealing with the mind because they haven't dealt with them. But for people who haven't dealt with spirituality, usually the aging process opens you just to know there's more to life than what we see. So that's not about any religion. It's not bringing somebody back to church unless that's their path and that's what they choose. But it's an opportunity to recognize that life is bigger than what we see. And to me, spirituality is all about recognizing that I'm only seeing partly what's going on. There is life beyond everything that I see. And when I become aware that the universe is a friendly, supportive place, I can be totally at peace. So living spirituality, so also the opportunity to usually to give back, and to me generosity and gratitude are a great part of spirituality.
Gratitude, gratitude, people. And Miss Tony, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Daniel. Wonderful.
Modicum people, see you soon.